Whether you're just starting your ACT preparation or it's the night before your test, we have great tips just for you. For tip number 1, we want you to know that the sections, the timing, and the number of questions don't change. You can count on it. Your first section is always going to be ACT English. It's going to have 75 questions in 45 minutes, and those are broken down into 5 essays. You're going to read the essays just like you would peer review a classmate's work. You're looking for general punctuation usage, you're looking at the verbs, and actually you don't want to skip around because the questions towards the end of each section actually ask about the essay as a whole, and so you're going to want to understand what happened throughout the essay so you can concentrate on overall organization. There isn't a break between the English and the math sections, and for the timing when it comes to the math, it seems like it would be one question in 1 minute, but it actually goes from easy to medium to hard. So the first 20 questions should actually take you less than 20 minutes. The middle 20 questions are going to take you about 20 minutes, and then the last 20 questions are going to take more than 20 minutes. So you have to know to move more quickly towards the beginning of the section, so you actually have time to do the last questions. After the math section, you're going to get a very well-deserved 10-minute break, and you want to use it super wisely because when you come back, you're going to have 2 back-to-back sprints. The ACT reading section is 40 questions, but you only have 35 minutes, and you have 4 passages. So you have to read 4 passages and answer 10 questions for each passage in 35 minutes. So you want to be really strategic. First, know that the passages are always in the same order. It's prose fiction, social studies, humanities, and then natural science. You can do them in any order you want, so always start with your strongest passage and then work your way from there. You don't have a break in between the reading and the science. It goes right on to the next section. And the ACT science section is broken down into 7 passages, and you don't know what order they're going to be in. You can keep track of your timing in halves, actually. At the 17-minute mark, and it's technically 17 and a half minutes, you want to have answered about 20 questions. You do get a break between the science and the essay section, and it's optional. You won't necessarily be taking the ACT essay unless you signed up for it specifically, and the essay is going to take you 30 minutes. Knowing how the test is scored really does change your approach, especially if you've taken the SAT. On the ACT, there's no wrong answer penalty, which means you should always answer questions, and you want to have a letter of the day. That means that you already know what answer you're going to pick if you have no idea or if you start to run out of time. So you want to know if you're going to pick A or B. Those are right now the most popular ones that students pick. So pick out your letter of the day ahead of time, and that's going to save you time on test day. In addition to knowing your letter of the day, be sure to know how to use elimination to your advantage. There really is only one right answer, we promise. And we want you to understand that as you eliminate an answer choice, as you go through each answer choice and start getting rid of them, you are increasing your odds of getting the question correct. So you can feel really good about crossing off those oddball answer choices and those answer choices that really just do not look correct. Get rid of them, and that will increase your odds. In terms of the traps that you're going to be eliminating, it changes depending on what section you're working on. So for example, for ACT English, there may be 2 grammatically correct answers. Now that doesn't mean there are 2 correct answers. You want to know that the ACT English section looks for conciseness. So they're looking for the shortest answer choice that is grammatically correct. So one of the approaches you can use is to look for the error. If you know there's an error, get rid of answer choice A. Now, sometimes there really is no change. Sometimes it is correct as written, so know that that is an option. If there is an error though, get rid of A and then go to the shortest answer choice. If that answer choice fixes the error, you're done. Don't keep reading. Don't go on to the next one because there may be a grammatically correct answer that's longer. And if it's longer than the other grammatically correct answer you've already seen, you don't want to fall into that trap. It is not correct. The ACT English section wants you to choose the most concise answer choice that is grammatically correct. Now, the other thing that might happen is you'll fix one error but accidentally introduce a new one, so watch out for that. So for example, if you're removing a comma that shouldn't be there, make sure you're not putting in a different error like a misplaced pronoun or preposition. So be on the lookout for those 2 traps. For the math section, here's where oddball answer choices come in. So if you're looking at the 5 answer choices available and 4 of them are whole numbers and 1 is a fraction, chances are the fraction is wrong. It's considered the oddball. When it comes to the end of the section, the questions do get harder. So sometimes what happens is the traps will be mathematically correct. They just won't answer the question that was asked. So for example, if you have a group of boys and a group of girls, the question may ask for total participants, and the trap answers would be how many girls and how many boys. Those would be 2 separate trap answers. So make sure you're looking at exactly what they're asking at the very end of the question, and that way you'll avoid some traps. For the reading section, there are only 5 trap answers. They're super popular because they're effective. Distortions are really tricky if you don't know to look for them. They are answers that sound right, but include some sort of word or phrasing that the author didn't use. So for example, they might say better or worse, and those might not be words that the author used. For misused detail, it gets tricky because it's totally true. You read it somewhere in the passage, it's just from the wrong part of the passage, or it doesn't answer the question. So if they're asking about paragraph 3 and you see a detail from paragraph 2, it's automatically wrong. It's from the wrong part of the passage. For out-of-scope answer choices, those could be true, but they weren't stated by the author, so we can't pick those. Extreme answers are close to the correct answer, but they use words like always and never, and we want to be really careful not to pick those. And then in terms of opposite answer choices, usually students are missing the word like not in the question stem. It's always that type of word is going to be in capital letters, and it helps to actually circle it with your pencil. For ACT Science, a lot of times the trap answers will be correct information just from the wrong chart or the wrong experiment. So you can actually circle what's in the question stem so that you can stay focused and make sure you use your time wisely. Our final tip is to be mentally and physically prepared. Make sure you bring everything you need to the test. In fact, pack your bag the night before. And then in the morning, wake your brain up. You want to be awake and ready when you get to the testing center. Make sure that you stay confident throughout the test. And that way you can reduce your stress and raise your score. To practice, come on over to Grocket. We've got diagnostics, we've got custom games, and you can actually play in group practice settings, or you can practice on your own. We sincerely hope to see you on Grocket soon.